You send a simple message. Hey, I can't make it tonight. You hit send, and then panic. Suddenly, you are typing again. Work has been crazy. I barely slept. I've just been overwhelmed. I promise I'll make it up next week. One clear sentence turns into a full emotional essay, and somehow, you feel worse. Not better. You do this at work, too. I can't take that on right now, followed by a full explanation about deadlines, stress, and why you are not a terrible person for having limits. Here's the truth. You do not need to defend every decision you make, because the more you explain yourself, the less you trust yourself. Over-explaining sounds harmless, polite even. But most of the time, it is not kindness. It is fear. Fear of disappointing people, fear of judgment, fear of conflict, fear that your simple no will not be enough unless you make it emotionally acceptable for everyone else. So instead of deciding, you negotiate. Instead of acting, you narrate. And that hidden habit quietly destroys discipline. Because discipline is not just about workouts, productivity, or waking up early. Discipline is the ability to make a decision and follow through without constantly debating, defending, or softening it. And every extra explanation drains that ability. So this video is about something deeper than communication. It is about why your brain feels compelled to explain itself, why that habit is exhausting you, and how to stop. Because once you do, your mind gets quieter, your boundaries get stronger, and your discipline gets a lot more powerful. To understand over-explaining, you need to understand one thing. Your brain was built for survival, not confidence. For most of human history, belonging to the group was survival. If your tribe rejected you, you lost protection, resources, safety. So your brain adapted. Keep people happy, avoid conflict, stay accepted. And one way humans did that was by smoothing social tension, explaining, justifying, softening. In a dangerous world, that made sense. But your brain still runs that ancient program, even though your life has changed. Now, saying, "No, I can't come tonight," can trigger the same internal alarm as social danger. Your nervous system reacts like, what if they're upset? What if they judge me? What if this creates conflict? So you explain, not because it is necessary, because it feels safer. Your brain thinks, if they understand all my reasons, maybe I'll still be accepted. But here's what actually happens. You burn energy trying to manage other people's reactions instead of trusting your own choice. And that becomes a pattern. A simple boundary becomes a performance. A decision becomes a defense. You start living like every choice needs approval. And that is where discipline begins to break. Over-explaining is not just annoying. It is exhausting. Every time you overthink how to say no, rewrite a message, or mentally rehearse your reasoning, you are spending energy. The same mental energy you need for going to the gym, studying, deep work, following through. Your brain has limited decision-making power, and when too much of it gets wasted on unnecessary negotiation, you feel drained before real action even starts. This is why you can spend 20 minutes explaining why you are too busy to work out, instead of just using that energy to work out. You feel mentally active, but physically stuck. Words replace movement, and over time, this creates a dangerous identity. I am someone who talks about what I need to do more than I do it. That is where self-trust erodes. Because every time you explain instead of act, your brain notices, and it learns. We don't really decide, we defend. That weakens discipline at the identity level. This is where most people get it wrong. They think disciplined people simply have stronger self-control. Not exactly. Usually disciplined people just waste less energy debating themselves. They decide faster. Their boundaries are clearer. Their systems are stronger. They do not spend half their life explaining why they are doing basic things that align with their goals. They say, I'm going to the gym. I don't drink on weekdays. I'm not available. Done. No speech. Why? Because discipline is not about convincing everyone. It is about creating systems where your actions do not require constant emotional negotiation. James Clear said it best. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And that includes your language. If every decision becomes a long explanation, your system is built for delay. If your decisions are short, clear, and identity-based, your system is built for action. For example, I'm trying to work out more because I've been inconsistent. Sounds uncertain. I work out after school. That sounds like identity. One is negotiable, the other feels settled, and your brain responds differently to each. The more your choices sound like identity, the less energy you waste defending them. This is where your life changes. When you stop acting like every decision is a group discussion. Silent discipline means your actions carry the weight, not your explanations. You do not need to constantly announce, justify, or emotionally package your choices. You simply live them. You say no clearly. You protect your time. You follow through quietly. This does not make you rude. It makes you aligned. Because confident people are not confident because they explain better. They are confident because they trust themselves enough not to over-explain. Imagine how different life feels when, "No, I can't," is enough. "I already have plans," is enough. "That doesn't work for me," is enough. No guilt spiral, no essay, no panic. Just decision. That is self-trust in action. So here is the practical challenge. For the next 24 hours, answer every unnecessary request, invitation, or boundary test with one sentence. 1. Not cold, not aggressive, just clear. Examples. No, I can't make it. I'm not available. That doesn't work for me. I already committed to something else. Then stop. No extra defense. Your brain will hate this at first. It will scream, "Explain more." Make sure they understand. Add context. That discomfort is normal. It is your old approval system losing control. But when nothing catastrophic happens, your brain learns something powerful. I can set boundaries and still be safe. And that is how rewiring begins. Short answer. Survive discomfort. Build self-trust. Repeat. So here is the bigger truth. Over-explaining is often a hidden form of procrastination. It feels productive, but usually it is avoidance. You are delaying action by wrapping it in language. But your future does not change when you explain your intentions better. It changes when you act on them faster. So ask yourself, how much of your life are you spending explaining instead of executing? How many goals are stuck behind speeches? How many boundaries are buried under guilt? How much energy is disappearing into unnecessary defense? Because discipline is not about having better excuses. It is about making better decisions and letting them stand. So for the next 24 hours, say what you mean. Use fewer words. Trust your choices. Let silence do some of the work. Because the moment you stop treating every decision like something that needs permission is the moment discipline starts getting stronger. Remember, you do not need better explanations. You need better decisions and the strength to let them be enough.